The effects of the 7.7 magnitude earthquake centered in Myanmar were felt in the Thai capital, Bangkok, where authorities have declared a state of emergency after tremors led to buildings collapsing and evacuations. At least 43 workers are reportedly trapped in a Bangkok skyscraper following the earthquake, as the search for casualties and damage is underway, according to the Myanmar Fire Department. For more on this story, we have our Thailand correspondent, Matt Hunt, with us. Matt, we are receiving the first images out of Myanmar where search efforts are underway, also in Bangkok. What is happening on the ground?
So here in Bangkok, there is a general sense of panic and fear, to be honest. About 1:30 p.m. when the earthquake first happened, that was very obvious right in my vicinity. I was actually at a local convenience store when I started to feel quite disoriented. I thought maybe I was passing out because it's very hot, but then I looked around and saw people just basically running. And Thailand is not necessarily expecting earthquakes. So people really didn't know what was going on, perhaps a crash. But then once I made it to the street, people were expressing a lot of fear about the fact that an earthquake had just happened. They were talking about trauma from the tsunami from before. They weren't sure about aftershocks. And they began to talk about the things that they were seeing online, which is quite a lot. So as you mentioned, there is a large construction project in the center of Bangkok that collapsed with at least 40 people that were working on that project today. And then in addition, there's been lots of videos and images shared of these high-rise buildings on the skyline of Bangkok with like rooftop pools with the water overflowing onto the streets and construction materials like cranes collapsing. So this is why the city was put under emergency. And I think that currently we are still in a state of panic, trying to figure out if there will be more aftershocks, what happens next. People are really uncertain. This is not a country that is accustomed to having earthquakes.
And you mentioned the skyscraper that collapsed in Bangkok. Dozens reported missing images overall of the devastation that we're seeing. We're also seeing images online of infinity pools cascading over buildings, right? So Bangkok, as you said, is now under state of emergency. Tell us a bit more about that. What should citizens in Thailand expect?
It's really interesting at the moment because the government is clearly struggling it seems obvious that they didn't quite have a plan for this. So initially the city was put under a state of emergency and all air traffic was stopped until the airports could be inspected, which I've heard that just finished. So that's one. But two, also public transit has stopped and the traffic in the city is basically at a gridlock while people, especially tourists, there's images and videos of thousands of people running out of shopping malls, of which there's dozens of them all over Bangkok. I mean, it's so hot. Like most of people try to stay in the air-conditioned space. And so there's lots of reports online of people running out and congregating on the streets, as well as seeking medical treatment at places that are now overwhelmed with people seeking medical treatment that have been hit by falling objects or suffered panic attacks, these types of things. So on all fronts, I would say there's panic in the society here.
And panic it is. It's been 2 decades since the devastating tsunami that hit the region. You mentioned it before. Are people worried of a possible tsunami warning?
Definitely. I've been looking into it and I have not received any confirmation that there is a tsunami warning. However, the interesting thing is that when I evacuated the store that I was in and started speaking to Thai people immediately, tsunami was one of the most common things that they were saying, in addition to the facts that they had seen, which were cracks in their buildings, the interiors of homes being destroyed. One factory nearby, people said that the lights were swinging from the one side of the room to the other. So tsunami is something that people are bringing up, but also the immediate surroundings are actually quite terrifying as well, because a lot of the buildings around here are not necessarily up to modern code. So it's these cracks in the walls are a lot more scary than they seem, I think.
That was our Thailand correspondent for us, Matt Hunt. Do stay safe.